Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made these two note cards. What I used was this designer series paper called Inside the Lines. Let me make sure I'm saying that exactly right. Inside the Lines. And it has, this is a paper that's available through Saleabration. When you order $50 worth of products through any of our catalogs that are live, then you qualify for a free item out of the Saleabration catalog. And this paper is one of the things that you can select for free. And I've had so much fun with it, and it is just gorgeous. There are all different kinds of designs in here, and I think you get 3 or 4 sheets of each different design. And I've gone through a couple of packs of paper already. And you can do whatever you want with them, but I wanted to show today simple techniques. This one is one where I used markers and I outlined the pattern on the paper in different colors. And this is one where I used some of the new watercolor pencils and then used a blender pen, and I also used an Aqua Painter on this one and put, little pieces on the inside to decorate. But I wanted to show the different techniques today because it's fast and easy, simple, and I think the impact is pretty amazing for just a simple little note card. So what you need is I used Whisper White, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I cut 2 pieces from one of those pieces of paper here that have the designs, and I'm going to show both techniques pretty quickly. And then I used some old olive. Now, the measurements on these pieces are 4 by 5 1/4, and these pieces are 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, so that they'll layer down the cards, if you will. Let me just show you here. Let me fold and burnish this card. Here and show you how that would work. Then this piece would layer on here, and when this is completed, this piece would layer on here. And that is really all there is to it. It's a very, very simple project. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to need some scratch paper here. Let's see, I'm going to get a couple pieces. This stuff kind of bleeds through. And the first one I'm going to show you is this outlining technique. And what I have done is I selected the old olive stamp marker. And I'm using the brush end of the tip. Our markers have a thin line which indicates the pen tip and a broader line that indicates the brush tip. And I'm using the brush tip here. And all I have done is gone around on all of the places where there is a leaf and outlined that leaf in this old olive marker. So that also includes the stems of the flowers here, and it looks like a lot, but it really doesn't take very much time, and there's no need for exact precision. All you want to do is make sure that you're getting the individual pieces marked, and if it's one that is a little bit wiggly, what I have found is that if you just, here's an example up here, just go ahead and wiggle your marker along and it kind of picks up whatever it is you're trying to get done. So in some places it looks a little bit more filled in, depending, but I didn't like the effect if I did it with the point end of this marker, only because I loved the idea of this bold lines that we have here. So I went for bold, And you can see I'm just about finished here now already with the leaves on this particular piece of panel of paper. And you miss one sometimes, you just don't see them, and I just say go back and pick them up. And again, you can see I'm not being terribly precise. You just want to make sure that you get the outlines pretty much done. And what I did was I wanted to make sure that there weren't any of the black lines left that you could see. All of the lines were covered by a marker, either as a flower or as a leaf. And so I have one more leaf here to do, or set of leaves. And I think I've got all of the leaves on that one. Now I used the Daffodil Delight one, and I just covered in the centers of the flowers, the stamens of the flowers. And the little bumblebee, I also covered him. And on his, I also used a little bit of the soft sky on the outside of his wings, and I'll get that and get that so you can see that in a second. I just realized I didn't do these little pieces here. And I think that's it. Okay, so the next thing I did was select another color marker. This is a rose, this one piece right here. I see one more leaf I missed. Okay, and I'm going to outline that rose in bright red. And like I said, when the colors are bold like this, it is so pretty. And there's no way to go wrong on this. Whatever you do will be perfect. And if you go a little white on the mark, nobody's going to be the wiser. There we go. There's a red. Isn't that pretty nice and bold? Then I'm going to do one. I selected a rich raspberry marker. And I am going to do this flower in rich raspberry. Okay. Then I also selected pumpkin pie, because I thought I wanted lots of bold, bright colors. And on this one, what I did was it had this beautiful center. I went ahead and colored that in, and in the same color I did the petals on the flower. So again, it's just outlining the marks on the paper that make up the flower. And I think the effect is pretty stunning. I see another little green leaf. These little leaves just appear every time you turn around. A little one tucked right in there. Okay. Then I selected Melon Mambo, and I thought I would do one in Melon Mambo. If you enjoy coloring at all, this is just a fun and easy project. Pretty fast, and you really could do a whole page of this paper and have it be ready, and then if you needed a fast card, cut out whatever size piece you needed at the time. See there, I went a little outside the lines on this particular one, so I'm just going to make that edge a little bit wider, and now it doesn't show. So it's pretty forgiving as a process. Let's see, I also have this yellow, and I think what I'm going to do is do this one here in the yellow. Let's see, I think I will also do the buds of these little flowers here. I'm using Wisteria Wonder on those, and there's 2 of them. Well, that's pretty bold, and I think I went a little wide on this leaf, so I'm going to fill that in. And just kind of take a look and fill in any spots that you see that might need a little piece. And then I used a little bit of the Soft Sky to kind of just go over the wings of the bumblebee. And there we have that one. I think that one is all done. Isn't that amazing? How bold and bright is that? Now all we need to do is mount that on our piece of old olive. So I'm going to just use some snail in my silicone mat here, and put some snail around the edge here, and maybe a little piece in the center, and get that set on my piece of old olive. There we go. And I'm going to place that on my card base. And as simple as that, a bold and beautiful handmade card. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? And then on the inside on these, what I did was I cut another little piece of the paper and colored in the same way I had done on the front of it. Now I'm not going to do that on this one just because for time's sake on the video, because I want to show you this other card, to put together this other card as well. And so I've got another piece here of the cardstock. Put my scratch papers down again, and I've got my watercolor pencils here. These are the colors of the watercolor pencils that come. It gives you Real Red, a Calypso Coral, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point, Rich Razzleberry, Melon Mambo, Early Espresso, Basic Gray, Basic Black, and White, Whisper White. So on this one, using the watercolor pencils, I thought I would start with this one, which is Pacific Point, and I'm going to select one of these flowers, maybe this one down here, and I'm going to color in using my pencils, and you can see that I'm not necessarily being very precise. Once again, that's one of the beauties of these pencils, is that depending on, now if you're just using the watercolor pencils, you'd have to be more precise, but I'm going to use both Aqua Painters and the blender pens to move the color around on the paper, and so there's really no need to be any more precise than just getting the color down. Okay, there's that one. Now on that one, I'm going to use a blender pen, and I'm going to show you first the scribbles that I put on there. It's pretty random. Just kept it inside the lines here, as it were. And then I'm going to use the blender pen to move that color around and get a more specific coverage on this flower. And some places are going to be a little bit lighter and some are going to be a little bit darker, just like in real life. In some cases, petals are brighter at the bottom and more washed out near the top. In any case, this has got the opportunity to... Now, I'm going to show you a technique with these watercolor pencils. I want to get a little bit more color right down in that spot. So I'm going to take my blender pen against the point of the pencil and actually color that in. And you can see that it did just what I wanted it to do. Okay, now that's what it looks like using a blender pen coloring in all of the pieces. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so now I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight on the center of this flower, and I'm just going to put it in quite heavily. And again, now I'm just going to clean my blender pen end, and as soon as the color stops coming off, even if your pen point is stained, you don't have the color on there anymore. So now I'm going to take this yellow and spread it around a little bit there and finish that flower. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to take that yellow off of there. Now I'm going to select another color. Let's see, what's this one? This one is Calypso Coral. And so I think I'm going to do this little flower up here in Calypso Coral. And with these watercolor pencils, you can go quite faint or very dark depending on how much you press down on these pencils. And this particular one, I went pretty light, and this one I'm going quite a bit darker. And it's just such an easy technique and a very cool way to get this color down on here. Now with this one, I'm going to, maybe on this one I'll use my Aqua Painter. And this is one of our Aqua Painters. This barrel holds water, and The tip is moist, and if it's dry, when you open it, you just press on it here and it pushes water down. And on this one, I'm going to use the Aqua Painter to move this color around on this paper. And the only thing I will say about the Aqua Painter is your paper gets a lot more wet as you move the color around. So it may require a little bit of drying in between before you do something else. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is the same thing I did on the other one, and that's pick up some more color on the end of my Aqua Painter and get some additional color down. And I'm going to do that color right around the center so that I have extra color at the center of this flower. And you can do it a couple ways. You can go back over, add some more of the watercolor pencil, and then move it around with the water, or put the color right on the end of your Aqua Painter and apply it there. Okay, so now you've seen a couple of different techniques, and I'm going to add that Daffodil Delight to the center of this one as well. And I'm going to put that in there again, pretty heavy. And that one I'm just going to leave the way it is. Okay, now, the other technique I used is putting ink. Now this is Pear Pizzazz, because I kind of like this color on the leaves here. And I put color in the lid of my stamp pad here. And I used my Aqua Painter to drop a couple of drops of water on there. And then I used a technique of almost a watercolor wash on some of these larger leaves. And again, when you do this, you put down a little bit more water on the paper. But I thought the effect of the color on the leaves was pretty nice. So again, on the stems of the flowers, on these large leaves, and then also on these smaller leaves, and just coloring them in with this watercolor wash. I like the look of that. So, and again, quite fast. As you can see, you can cover a lot of territory with a brush full of ink and water. And so this was a combination of ink and watercolor pencils. And there's some large leaves up here. But I really did like the effect of all of this and filling in the whole thing. we're just about done. And so I think that the technique of both the outlining and the watercolor take approximately the same amount of time. And then it's just a matter of which style of it appeals to you more, to lay down color. And I just think this paper just gives you so many options. You could just leave it the way it is and do a black and white, and it would probably be just as stunning. I'm going to fill this in down here. I don't know if it's a leaf, but that's what I'm going to call it. And you can, as you can see, I'm going back in here and adding a little bit more color in a couple of places. So in doing this, what I have left, I think, are flower petals. So I'm going to go back to my pencils, and this one is Rich Razzleberry, and there is this flower that's kind of peeking in from the corner here. And then I'm going to go back to my blender pen and move that color around and even it out. There, right to the edge. I'm going to do that on this one also that's kind of peeking in here in the corner. I'm using the Razzleberry. This one looks like a poppy to me, so I think I'm going to try and find my pumpkin pie. There it is. And I'm going to do this like I would one of those beautiful orange poppies that you see. And here, my objective is really to get the color down. And I find that if you turn your pencil as you go, you maintain somewhat of a point, because at some point these are going to have to be sharpened. And so if you've got a good pencil sharpener, that's great, and if you don't, you should probably invest in one. I am just loving these watercolor pencils, and they are so much versatility to them. And I'm thinking the inside of poppies are kind of a dark color, so maybe we'll make the inside of this poppy black. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to make sure my Rich Razzleberry is off of my blender pen, and I'm going to move this color around. Look how brilliant it makes that orange. Wow. Isn't that pretty? There we go. Now I know that there is a black pencil. So I am going to color the inside of this flower black. And use my blender pen to get that black moved around and looking like the inside of a poppy. There, isn't that pretty? Okay. little bit more orange there. All right. How fun is that? Okay. I think what I'm going to do is go to the red. I think this is the red. Yes, the red. And put that red down here on this one. And again, I am laying this color down fairly heavily on these flowers. Let me get my black off of here and blend in that red. There we go. Gosh, that's pretty. Okay, so I need one more color to put in here. And maybe I will go with a, no, I've already used that one. That's a Calypso Coral. I'm going to put in Bermuda Bay on this one, and I'm going to go very pale on this one. So I'm putting my color in, and I am not pressing very hard, just getting the blue down here. And I'm going to leave the wings of the bumblebee mostly not colored. Just a little bit of blue. And again, not as much color as I put in some of the other places. And I'll use my blender pen here. Make sure my red is gone. And then move around this paler blue. And it looks like I'm going to need to pick up a little bit of color here. And around the edges there. Okay, there we have it. Now I need a little bit of, I'm going to put a little pale orange on the inside of this flower. And I'm going to come on top of that with a little of the yellow. And then I'm going to use my blender pen once again to give the stamen of that flower just a little something different. Now, bright yellow on our bumblebee here. There we go. And there we have it. I do see one more little piece of a green leaf back here. And so I am going to fill that in with my Aqua Painter. And I think that that is complete. So, all right, so this one is now complete. And again, this really is very fast. I'd be inclined, I think, the next time to just color a whole paper and then cut out the pieces that I need for various projects. So there we go there, and here's another card base. Let me get that folded and burnished here. Get my scratch paper out of the way and mount this one on here. I think that orange with the poppy is just came out so pretty. So I'm going to mount this on my card base, and again, you would maybe cut a little piece of this and put the decoration on the inside. In fact, this would be kind of fun to do as a gift, maybe a light wash one, the dark wash, and a couple of the outline ones, and make it a note card set to give somebody as a gift. I think that would be a very pretty gift and simple. Feels very summer or spring-like, which does my heart good. I'm so ready for all of that. So there's the, let's see, these are the two that I did today. This was the original ones that I think I showed you. Here is another that I have done. I've done most of the outline because I think that had been my favorite. And there you can see, I think, all of the various types that you could do and how different even the washes are if you do them in lighter tones versus the darker or the brighter tones. In any case, that is the project for today. Thanks again for stopping by and visiting my YouTube channel. I'm going to move some of these out of the way so we can take a look at the ones that we did for today's project. And again, on these on the inside, I did, let's see, several of them probably have the insides done. Yes, this one has an inside done. And some of these others also have, I think it's this one. Well, apparently not. This one. This one has an inside completed. And so thanks again for stopping by and watching my YouTube channel. All of the material can be obtained through the catalog. Now, this particular paper can only be obtained when you make a $50 order. You get this paper for free as one of your choices in the Celebration catalog. Right now is a wonderful time to think about if you want to set yourself up to be a demonstrator. The first quarter of the year is a really good time to do it because Stampin' Up! Gives you $125 worth of products for $99 to start. And then if you sign up under me, you get an additional $40 worth of products to help you get started. Plus, you get all of the free items through Celebration, plus you continue to get your Stampin' rewards. So signing up this time of the year is a really, really good way to think about doing this. So you can order any of this material through my Stampin' Up! Site. It is www.lbedinger.stampinup.net. And if you don't already have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, or I'd love to have you join my team. In any case, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.